Notre Père for Jim Draper and Andrew Lynch, and they're represented by Guniella this afternoon. Notre Père remains the only Irish horse ever to have won the Welsh National, and future national winner Silver Birch took it back in 2004. So let's have a look at this year's contenders.
It's the Coral Welsh Grand National this year, and plenty of class at the top of the weights. Tidal Bay speaks for himself. Tremendously talented. T for 3, so gallant when second last year. Hey Big Spender ties in very closely with the gambled on Vintage Star. Highland Lodge, exuberant, bold jumper, relishes deep ground, and Gulan, after disappointing at Cheltenham, has blinkers made.
Merry King, who represents the Hennessy form, he'll be much happier on this softer surface. Wickhill, another one who'll revel in conditions. David Bridgewater trains. Tom O'Brien, well refreshed. Joshua Moore, be interested to see if he's carrying any overweight now on this horse trained by Gary Moore. Guniella, Andrew Lynch and Jim Draper 8-1 co-favourite. Vintage Star, we just heard from Ryan Mania. Sue Smith trains.
Nick, from 10 down, all these jockeys are trying to do 10 stone. A hungry Christmas for some lads. Hawke's Point is low mileage over fences. Knock a Hand likewise and promises to stay well. Amigo is a bit of an enigma. Chartres has lost the plot. Mountainous has strong stamina and Chepstow form.
Tour de Champs, trained by Nigel Twiston-Davis. He's won this race a few times. Son Sam rides. Ace High, Kieran Edgar for David Pipe. Red Rocco, Adam Wedge and Nigel Twiston-Davis. Haraway, we've heard from Jamie Moore already on the score sheet today for Peter Bowen. One in a Milan, Conor Ring rides for his boss, Evan Williams.
They include Hey Big Spender, who's struggling. Haraway's never landed a blow. Ace High is also towards the back in company with Well Refreshed. The first down the back, and Knock a Hand pouring it on out in front. Travelling comfortably, leads from Highland Lodge, who's pushed along. Vintage Star goes well. Reminders for Tour de Champs back in the field. Another of the open ditches. Knock a Hand got into a lovely rhythm out in front. Well Refreshed, another mistake. His most serious one, but it's about his 4th or 5th. Surely he can't recover from such a series of errors. Knock a Hand and Vintage Star, these are the two that have got into the best rhythms. 8 to take in the Coral Welsh Grand National. Highland Lodge in 3rd, T for 3. Hawke's Point, this big horse who pounds through the ground, jumps in now into 4th place. Amigo's next from Merry King. Mountainous is pushed along for the first time. Gulain and Guniella trying to pick them off with Chartres, but it's still Knock a Hand who leads them towards the penultimate fence down the back. Knock a Hand from Vintage Star. Hawke's Point moving up into 3rd with Highland Lodge, then T for 3. Amigo making ground in the blue colours from Mountainous. One in a Milan, Merry King is pushed along. Then out wide, Guniella from Chartres. Tidal Bay just moving through into about 13th place over that in the Wiley colours with the sheepskin noseband, as the leaders now have a long run before they turn back to home. 5 to take in the Coral Welsh Grand National. And out in front, it's Knock a Hand who shows by a length. From in 2nd place, Hawke's Point and Vintage Star. Then Highland Lodge, never been far away with T for 3. They cluster up now as Mountainous tries to join in. Merry King towards the outside of Amigo. One in a Milan comes next, then Tidal Bay, who's moved through into about 10th place and is close enough as T for 3 is ridden along. Gulain and Chartres are just struggling to stay on the heels of this leading group, which is made up of about 9 or 10 horses as they turn towards the 5th last, and it's Hawke's Point who devours the mud. The red colours towards the outside. Knock a Hand always been there with Vintage Star. Highland Lodge, Mountainous, so 2 chances for the Lee camp. Merry King comes next. Tidal Bay still just about 8th or 9th place as they rise from that, now with a little bit of work to do. So racing then down towards the 4th last, and it's Vintage Star for Ryan Mania, who's moved through the lead. Mountainous is coming there strongly. Hawke's Point still there on the stand side as they take 4 from home. Knock a Hand is back in 4th. T for 3 trying to stay on with Merry King. One in a Milan, and Tidal Bay is coming. Tidal Bay, the old horse, a sheepskin noseband. Darryl Jacobs even allowing himself to fill the tank on the run towards the 3rd last. Hawke's Point moves through with Mountainous. Behind these in 3rd place, one in a Milan battling on with Vintage Star. Tidal Bay on the outside is now beginning to try and chase the leaders. Hawke's Point leads 2 from home from Mountainous. Over in 3rd place, Tidal Bay and Vintage Star. Hawke's Point pressed by Mountainous on the far side. Now Tidal Bay is asked. 12 years of age as they come to the last. Hawke's Point, Mountainous and Tidal Bay at the last in the Welsh National. Mountainous on the far side from Hawke's Point. Tidal Bay is switched for one effort, has 100 yards and 2 legs to find. Mountainous holding on grimly from Hawke's Point. Tidal Bay can't seem to get there. Mountainous all out will just win the Coral Welsh Grand National. In 2nd, Hawke's Point. Tidal Bay, what a run under 11-12. In 3rd place, one in a Milan in 4th. Very King next. Behind these, Amigos finished. Vintage didn't quite get home. Guniella never really showed, and T for 3. Mountainous, it is another Welsh national winner for Richard Lee. Paul Maloney has got him home in a really pulsating three-way finish. 3 tired and gallant horses provide a vintage Coral Welsh Grand National.